Hey guys, guess what? It's time for another plus 100 Sideshow visit. Yep, just 6 videos ago, we had the Sideshow Stego revisit, but that's just how infrequently I put up videos a long time ago. Now this will be my last Sideshow revisit since I've re-reviewed all of my Sideshows already. I've been looking forward to this one because out of all my old videos, I believe the Sideshow Gastonia had the worst lighting of all, and yet I absolutely love the color on this, and hopefully this video does it better justice. The ankylosaurs are of course famous as the living tanks of the dinosaur world, and there were 2 main groups. The ankylosaurids, like Ankylosaurus here, were characterized by having a tail club with broad bodies, while the nodosaurids like Borealopelta here had no tail club but impressive shoulder spikes and longer snouts. Now Gastonia here belonged to this family. While not roughly the size of a barge, it was still about 5 meters or 16.3 feet, which makes this 69 centimeter or 27-inch statue about 1:7 scale. And like the Sideshow Stegosaurus, this is a massive piece, but thankfully not so unwieldy. In terms of weight, the base and the statue each is 4.1 kilograms or 9 pounds, so the whole thing is 8.2 kilograms or 18 pounds. Very solid and stable, but also very heavy. So you'll need very strong support, and I'm guessing that most IKEA shelves aren't going to be enough. Now, this sloped base makes it taller than you'd expect for a low-slung ankylosaur, and having a rocky incline is a great idea to show off more of the animal. This raises the highest point from the base to the tail here to 39 centimeters or 15.5 inches, so you'll need both a strong shelf and enough vertical clearance. For an idea of size, here's the Safari Sauropelta. And the PNSO Ankylosaurus, against just one of these shoulder spikes. So let's take a closer look at this impressive statue. The head captures the features of the typical nodosaurid. A narrow snout suggesting greater selectivity of food compared to the broader beaks of the ankylosaurids. The eyes are very carefully painted, with a light wetness to them. You can really appreciate the various structures here. The protection for the eye, the scutes on the head, and look at the way these cheeks are stretched out. And the beak has that nicely rendered horn-like look that Sideshow does so well. We've seen this not just in the brow horns of Triceratops, the Tegomizer, and the plates of Stegosaurus. And so of course it's great to see that skill applied here too.
A little bonus here, the teeth inside.
Now we've seen the beak, but look at the smaller detail. If we look at the claws or the hooves and how glossy the sheaths are, and yet with enough irregularity to be believably lifelike. You'll see this in the jaggedness of the right front claw, here. And also back here, in the left rear hooves. Irregularities like this really give a living individuality to the animal, and distinguishes a carefully thought-out model. A little imperfections to create an individual animal with its own life experiences and tribulations. And besides the claws, You also get that just looking at the skin of this animal. Cracked and craggy. Creased with lines, giving it a natural weathering and aging. And even what looks like a huge scar over here on the leg. Our Gastonia simply looks lived in. The showcase, of course, are the defensive shoulder spikes and armor, and that's very well presented here. Gastonia is an impregnable fortress of spines and scutes from above. For the sides. And as for the belly, trying to flip something with such a low CG has always made scenes like this very offensive to me. The nodosauurs had really impressive shoulder spikes, from Edmontonia to Sauropelta to Borealopelta. Gastonia here certainly has a
formidable array too.
In general, it follows quite closely to the reconstruction in the original Kirkland 1998 paper. Pointed to the sides, and also here the top. It's a desperate predator indeed that would attack this from straight on.
I really love this overlap of neck spines to accommodate the lateral flexion here.
As you can see, they all vary in shape, size and contour, and each has its own individual features, be it the grooves, the growth lines, little signs of past injury, and even the color mix. And just as I love the PNSO Borealopelta prototype for having spikes tipped with black, and so too is this scene here. If I remove this spike, you'll be able to see just how much detail has been put into it. And consider that each of these spikes are similarly detailed. Besides the spiky osteoderms, we also have flatter protective scutes. Most of them are keeled with a pleasing color in circular blends. And between these larger scutes are a tight-fitting mosaic of smaller scutes and ossicles, and you can appreciate their interlocking nature, especially in the sacral shield protecting the wide hips. There are also some scutes in the forearms here, something Sideshow seems to like doing for its weaponized dinosaurs. And all this forms a passive defense that would have served it well against even the most determined predators. But then notice that the triangular spikes here are also present in the tail. And here you get a more active form of defense, as even though it doesn't have a tail club, the whip of a tail like this has got to hurt and do damage. And just in case a predator has any clever ideas, there are these cute pairs of scutes protecting the tail from any bite attempts. So as a specimen, yes, it's intimidating. Now what really tops it all off for me is the color choice in this statue. Now, there's strong support for the idea that large animals weren't too garishly coloured or extravagantly patterned, and such is the choice made here. But there's still something really pleasing about the earth tones that I really love, and especially the general green of this. We know from suspected Borellopelta melanosomes that in addition to Rama, a counter-shading scheme was also employed by these types of dinosaurs, and that's chosen here in this statue, being a darker green on top and light grey or grey-green below. The head has a kind of alpine green, which shows just the slightest hint of a black pattern. And this is echoed down the body as well. You can see here in this subtle pattern in black over the sacral shield, which is so naturally executed. And then here the mottling down the thighs. The arms. And just absolutely stunning. And notice this transition here. You can just imagine how all this helps to break up the animal against natural surrounds. I do have to say that the color scheme does remind me of an illustration of Gastonia by Mariana Ruiz. Now this is the exclusive version. And just now I removed the spike.
And the reason for that is the exclusive version allows you to attach this in place.
Another spike, but with a pterosaur perch on it. I don't know what genus this is, but I do like the idea of a real ecology, the way the Anurognathus was depicted in the Walking with Dinosaurs Diplodocus episode.
They fight, feed and breed on creatures that are 150,000 times heavier than they are.
And here's just a closer look at the little guy. I do wish this pterosaur was more brightly coloured, as it would have lent some visual contrast. And now the base. Like other sideshows before, it's not outstanding in terms of colour. It's a rocky incline with some mossy vegetation. Now the sculpting is really good. For example, look at these finer lines here at the side. And also I'm happy that this base doesn't have the useless additional black layer we saw in the Triceratops and Stegosaurus repaint, which adds unnecessary weight and height. A pity the colour couldn't do it more justice. Still, I will say that while some brightness here would have been a nice visual contrast, however, when I take them together, it's really nice how balanced they look, both in such soothing earthy tones with the various shades of greens and grey-greens. So that's it for the Sideshow Gastonia. Now just about anyone will be awed and inspired by this, and it's not very hard to see why. The impression of sheer bulk and power in one dangerous-looking, well-armoured animal, with detail that stands up to close scrutiny and a paint job that's really pleasing and naturalistic. And that's how a pricey statue should be. One look and you know you're looking at something special. A second look and you confirm it. It is not something that can be fully appreciated in one sitting with layer upon layer to discover, and that's what you should expect from a high-end statue. And just like I declared in my original review, I have no hesitation giving it 5 hurrahs and 12 hip hips. It really is a pity that Sideshow never did an ankylosaurid with that tail club, but I'm glad we got at least one ankylosaurian from the line.
Now just a tip, however, if you like large high-end statues, have a look at the Titans of the Earth channel, which showcases large-scale statues, including many sideshows I don't have, and an awesome idea for the PNSO Megalodon. I'll see you hopefully soon with another review.